I want to experiment today because I saw this video in which someone used an instant pot, of which I have one, and they put in dry pasta in their liquid, put the lid on with other ingredients in there, and pressure cooked it in 6 minutes. This is like a pasta that cooks in 8 to 12 or 10 to 12 minutes. I thought I've got to try that. So what I want to make today is this pasta and sausage. I'm going to use penne. So penne and sausage. I'm going to call it a soup. I'm not sure whether it's a stew, but it's going to be a thick soup. So let's make this penne and sausage. I started heating my Instant Pot using the sautee function on the front. And I just put in there 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using cooking olive oil. And then just checking, make sure it's on. And then I have 2 shallots. Actually, I've got 1 because it's very large. I'm going to put that in there. My shallots are sizzling in there. I want to cook these until they're beyond tender and translucent. I actually like my shallots a little bit on the caramelized side. So I'm going to watch those closely. When they start to brown, I'll put the sausages in there. What I have here is 4 Italian sausages. These are big. They're over 4 ounces each. You need about 1 pound of Italian sausages. I'm going to cut these up into pieces. Okay, those are starting to brown a little bit. And that should be good. So I want to put in my Italian sausage pieces. And start cooking these. I don't need to cook this all the way through. I just need to cook it until this meat starts to brown. Okay, my Italian sausages are just starting to brown on the outside. I don't need to get them too browned. But what I do need to do next is add a couple of cloves of garlic. So I'm going to use my garlic press to crush these, or you could just mince your garlic and add it to the pot. And then stir that in and cook that for no more than 1 minute, because you don't want to brown that garlic too much. It'll get bitter. That is looking really nice. All right, I think I'm going to be satisfied with that. Oh, and I wanted to mention I'm using sweet Italian sausages. You can use hot or a mixture of both. And 1 pound is equivalent to about 450 grams. Okay, now I'm going to add 1 cup, which is about 240 milliliters of dry white wine. I'm actually using vermouth. Vermouth is a white wine that's been seasoned. It has some seasonings added to it. And then I have 3 cups, which is about 700 milliliters of vegetable stock. You can use chicken stock if you'd like. Stir that in. Separate that fond from the bottom. All right. And then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. You can add 1 teaspoon of dry oregano if you want. What I have here is a can of San Marzano tomatoes. These are cento. I happen to like them. And I'm not going to use the whole can. I'm going to use about half the can. But I'm going to crush them in there with my hands. So I have crushed tomatoes. These are whole tomatoes. The other half of that can I'll save for later. I'll make another pot. And then I want to add some of this puree from the can. And then save the rest for later. Optional. Don't freak out. I'm going to add 2 anchovy fillets. I happen to like anchovy fillets in food like this. An Italian friend from Portchester, New York, taught me to love anchovies in foods like this. They just blend right in. They disappear and they just add a little bit of something to the flavor. I think they call that umami. Okay. And then, this is the interesting part. Then I have a package of penne pasta. This is slightly over a pound. It's actually 500 grams, 17.6 ounces. I'm going to add some of that. Not all of it yet. I want to see how much I can get down under the liquid. Going to add more. You don't want it, oops, piece of plastic from the bag in there. You don't want it piled up above the liquid. You want to try to get it down into the liquid as much as you can. So maybe I won't use it all. I think I can get a little bit more in there. So I'll call that the full pound. Again, 1 pound of pasta, or 450 grams. Okay, and then finally on top, I'm going to put some fresh basil that I tore up with my hands. This is about 1/4 of an ounce, 7 grams of fresh basil. All right, I'm going to hit the off button. Cancel. Going to put the lid on. I'm going to set the pressure release valve to sealing, and then I'm going to press the pressure cooker. Should be right there, pressure cooker. And I'm going to leave it at 6 minutes. And then we'll see what happens. Okay, the cooking time is done. So I'm going to do a quick release of the pressure. I'm ready to open this pot now and finish what I've got. Okay, so what I have here is 1 jar. This was 14.75 ounces with everything, the water that was in it. The dry weight, 9.2 ounces, 261 grams of artichoke hearts that were in water. I drained them and then broke them up. I'm going to stir that in. Boy, this looks good. This looks really good. And then I have 1/4 cup, just to give it a nice finish to it, of, you can use half and half. This is heavy cream. You could even use a little bit more, maybe 1/2 cup. I like the looks of this. Okay, the first thing I need to do is get a fork, and I want to test one of these pieces of pasta. Did it cook enough? We'll see whether that's cooked too much, too little, or perfectly al dente. Cooked to perfection, but that's going to need some salt. Okay. Going to put in a good pinch of salt here. Stir that in. Taste it again, and if I need to, I'll add a little bit more salt. Let's see, I need my red handle tasting spoon. Where is it? It's right here. I want to taste that broth. This is a thick broth. It's almost like a sauce. It's kind of halfway between a sauce and a soup. That's good. I don't like too much salt in my food. All right. So I'm going to dish some of this up and see what I've got. Gonna get a nice bowl for myself. That looks beautiful. All right, last step is to see how that tastes. Before I taste this, I want to garnish it with a little bit of shredded Romano cheese. Eat my pasta first. I couldn't ask for better. Piece of Italian sausage here. Jet going overhead. That's an excellent one-pot dinner. So there it is, penne and Italian sausage. Really, really good. So excuse me, I'm going to go enjoy an early dinner.